you started out as a director in 2005.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And now in this, like, not, I wouldn't call it short, but it's like not that long either. You know, you've achieved so much, starting out from Jamshedpur, and now you've sort of you're counted amongst the top 10 directors of Hindi movies, the Yash Chopra of the newer generation and whatnot. Was there a plan for this?
There was no plan at all. I was in Jamshedpur day before yesterday, and I was addressing a gathering, and I was just telling them that I still cannot believe that I am standing on stage and talking to anybody. And it was indescribable that I am a film director. When I started my life in Jamshedpur doing theatre, etc., I always wanted to do something with the media. I didn't want to do engineering, etc., which my other friends ended up doing.
Right.
But at the same time, there was no way of even dreaming that one would be a film director. We didn't know how it was to be a film director. And so I just didn't even, I just carried on with what I was doing.
Okay.
And what was interesting to me. And here I am. It's really that.
I read in an interview that the place that you grew up in Jamshedpur, Karim Manzil, I think it was
Karim
called.
Mansion was, yeah, my relatives' house, yes.
And over there were like cinema halls attached to it, and you would constantly watch movies or hear the sound of it playing, right?
Yeah.
Did that impact you? Did that sort of subconsciously push you in this direction?
So, I have relatives in Jamshedpur who own cinema theatres. They are shut right now. So there are 3 cinema theatres. And they have a house that's attached to the same building. So there was 1 year that I actually lived with them,
right?
Because my parents were in Patna and they were doing something over there, like they were working there. And I was in Jamshedpur and used to live in this house. And before which I used to also like visit Jamshedpur or was up at their house. As a kid, all the gatekeepers of the cinema theatres knew me. I would go in, step out. The projectionist I made friends with when I was a little older, like in the 7th grade or something.
Okay.
And I used to help him. He used to smoke bidi in the projection room, so I used to help him load and unload the reels.
Okay.
So, and I had that very cinema paradiso kind of an experience where there's a small hole and you stand over there and look through it into this world of people that those days used to have pan and, you know, spit it out onto the wall. There is a certain smell and a certain outwardly experience of some woman dancing and
right.
some guy hitting and, you know, people whistling, etc. So yeah, that world was very fascinating.
Right.
And I'm so glad that in some sort of a way I'm a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, complete Alice in Wonderland kind of a feeling,
It was, yeah. Now I look back at it, it is.
Yeah. Coming from Bihar, Jharkhand, you know, it's not one of the expected careers. Did you ever get that, like, you know, that, oh, but you don't look like a Bihari, or we didn't expect you to, why didn't you join UPSC or something like that?
Oh yes, of course. I was in Delhi University, and I was a topper type, like I was doing well in my studies in college as well.
Right.
And so no one could believe that I would do anything but UPSC.
Right. What was your subject?
English literature.
In Hindu college?
In Hindu college.
Okay.
And and I was doing theatre all the time while in Hindu. Before which, when I was in school, then I was doing physics, chemistry and maths, and I actually really liked maths and physics.
Is it?
So yeah, and I was kind of destined to go towards engineering. But at that point of time, I was a little, thankfully, distracted by basketball and theatre.
Okay.
And so I ultimately didn't end up doing engineering.
Okay.
And came into English literature. But so I left one thing, and there was this thing of, beta, you've got to earn. And I used to say that I want to study, I want to become a journalist.
Right.
Because being a journalist was the only legit media profession in my circle. You know, I couldn't say that I want to be a film person. Nobody, we didn't know anybody who was from films except for this projectionist. So that is where I was, yeah.
True. And so engineering took a backseat.
And yeah, I didn't do engineering. And in fact, I was thinking maybe I'll become a basketball professional, but there is no future for that.
Yeah.
So engineering ate that up.
Yeah.
Then English literature ate up engineering, or UPSC ate up engineering.
Okay.
And then finally just theatre took over and writing took over, and I'm here.
Moving on to other things.
Yes.
Television, you know, you started out really young. At 21, you directed a TV show.
Yeah.
What was your struggle? Like, did you even struggle, considering that you started out so early and you were director of a television show?
See, the point is that luckily for me, sorry,
Right.
you finish your question.
No, so that was my thing. Did you really have to struggle, or like, you know, one thing followed another, and then of course
Honestly,
the usual hard work sort of thing?
honestly, one thing followed the other.
Right.
Strangely, miraculously, I've never had a situation where there's been no bread on the table. It should have, because I've really not planned these things.
Right.
I didn't really know where my next you know, meal is going to come from, or next month's rent is going to come from, etc. While I was here. Even now I don't actually. It's
Right.
just somebody who's just carrying this whole thing on. But what happened to me is that I wanted a job in advertising. I did a course in advertising thinking that I'll get a job. The irony is that I didn't get a job in advertising, although I believe that I was a really good copywriter while in the class. People believed that I'd be perhaps the first to get a job, and I struggled the most because the need for me to get a job and work and earn money was the highest.
Right.
And I was like really at it. Never got a job in advertising miraculously. The job that I got after 1 year of trying was in television as a production assistant or a delivery boy type for tapes in ZTV.
With Kunal.
Kunal was the guy who interviewed me.
Right.
And he brought me into Kunal Kohli. I still
Right.
call him sir, and that pisses him off. Into ZTV, yeah.
Okay. What is it that you take away from failure?
Well, I feel that failure gives you more than success if you do not count money.
Sure.
Or if you look at it in a, let me rephrase it. I think failure gives you more than success in the long term.
Right.
And since I have known that, and I've been the recipient of what failure might give you earlier in life, like, you know, I didn't get into advertising. I didn't get a job in advertising. It was a failure every day for a year. And now I shudder to think what would have happened if I did get into advertising, right? So I feel that, yeah, some films of mine didn't do very well as much as they should have, or people wanted it to. But it must make me stronger in some way, or teach me new things in some way, or change things in some better way, give me more learning, which is going to be more precious than anything else that success can give you.
Did you feel dejected or anything at that point during this phase, like
No,
pre-movies phase? No, it was all
I didn't
good.
ever. The only times that I felt dejected were actually when I was not getting a job in advertising, because I had no ambition really.
Right.
I never thought I'll be a film director.
Right.
For me, when I started getting my 3 squares meals a day in Bombay and enough money to have a rented apartment in Bombay, my monetary ambitions were over. So I was never dejected because I thought I'm so lucky that
Right.
I have already arrived in life.
Yeah.
If I can do this, if
Yeah.
I can have my own rented house in Bombay. So I felt that everything over that is a bonus, it's a plus.
Now, after so many successful films, I believe you watch your movies in the theatre with the public, right?
Yeah, yes.
You do that?
Yes, I do watch my movies in the theatre with the public.
Is that exciting, or is it soul destroying? Which way does it work?
I think soul destroying is also very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends which way you look at it.
And it's like watching Highway in a single screen.
Right.
At Gaiety. In the stalls can really kill your ego. But you do that.
Right.
And I get a thrill of that. It's not only to get praise that one makes films, I
Sure.
feel, or that's not the only thing you can hope to get from a movie. You get some insight
Right.
into yourself and into your work and into people when you are in a live situation for which you've made the film.
Yes.
And I really enjoy that because there are all kinds of subliminal, subconscious learning that comes into you from there.
It's also interesting as an exercise, that what you conceptualize and how it's actually being perceived, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not always the same. And if it is, then you know that you've sort of hit the bullseye. Like women, men play different roles in their lives, right? So when it comes to
I think I'm a good dad. I think I'm a cool dad.
Okay. Ida is shaping up to be a very fine young woman. I've seen her interview you, and very confidently and sweetly. So is there anything that you imbibe from your father that you sort of have passed on to her?
I think my father was the ideal father. I don't think you can, I think much of what I might have acquired in my life is through him. Yeah, so what I have got from my father is this thing of being I'd like to be a better father for my daughter, is the constant refrain that comes from every time I think of my father. Yeah, and also he, in his own setup at that time, which is different from now, was very open and friendly with me, as much as was possible. He kept a certain relationship on. So it's not as though you could take him for granted, or I can't even if even if I'm joking, I can't say certain things to him that he can say to me. So with Ida, I just thought that it will be actually interesting for me to really be real with her and just open up. So it's like a step further from the previous generation. But that's how it has. I think it's some influence of my father that I'm like that with Ida.
What are the most fun things that you do together?
We tell each other stories all the time. Like ever since she was old enough to understand language, I have been telling her stories. And then from the time that she was old enough to actually speak properly, she's been telling me bedtime stories as well. I think we do that a lot. We just discuss a lot of things like concepts and politics, and sometimes I tell her about something that had happened in history. Sometimes she tells me a lot about what's going on in the world, in socio-politics, and what the UN is saying, and what the blah 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 happened and things like that. So current affairs is something that she tells me a lot now. So sitting discussing is our cool thing. And also then we play basketball together. I was training her to play basketball, so that was also nice for us to do.
Which class is she in now?
Now she's in the 11th grade.
Okay, so grown up.
Yeah, she's grown up. She's the president of her school. She went for this election thing, so I know two presidents, Trump and Ida.
Yes, one right at home.
One right at home.
And must be fun. It's a fun sort of
one right
age.
At home and the other just right.
Yes. Coming back to the movies, it's interesting because she's obviously got that storytelling flair from you and interest, above all. Do you feel happy that you've sort of now, because of your situation in the movies, she's like an industry kid? Does that make you happy?
So yeah, but with everything that comes in being an industry kid, or by being the father of an industry kid, it's not something that makes me particularly happy. Because I know for a fact that it's not going to stand her in any stead, her being my daughter. I mean, just the only advantage she might have is that her steps might fall right walking in this terrain. But aside of that, the chances of her success or failure will not be determined by the fact that she has anything to do with anybody in the film industry. I know that for a fact. There have been enough examples of people who've done well or not done well, despite the same relationship with other people in the film industry. So, and I know, because I've spent enough time with Ranbir and other people who were born into this industry, to understand that it's not as though it is only perception that they get a lot of help, but actually they have a lot of problems too.
I don't think it's a question of they get a lot of help. I think it's the advantage of familiarity, of the workings of it. Other than that, I don't think it's really like a help or not.
Correct. And the disadvantage is that they come in with no new story to the film industry. Right? You came in from Miranda, you came in from Bihar, you are a different story. You're a different instrument, right? So am I. But for Ranbir to be unique, or for Ida to be unique, and to have certain flavors that are not available otherwise abundantly in the film industry, is they have to work harder.
That's the struggle for them.
That is the struggle for them.
To get life experiences outside of
because what do you make your stories on? Like when Amitabh Bachchan stands on screen, you know that this guy's had a journey, right? For Ranbir to achieve the same status is more difficult because he's not traversed that path.
Yes. It's a more focused experience. I mean, which can be
limited experience, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to tell you the same story as a film industry, any film industry kid can. He cannot say that I was in Allahabad or I was in Calcutta, you know.
You were also famous for holding your relationships with stars really well. Like most of the stars that you've worked. What did you think?
I was thinking, what the hell is she talking about?
What were you thinking? No, we'll get into that later. But no, really, the stars that you worked with. You share a warm, happy relationship with, like, I think all of them? Or most of them?
Right?
How do you make that happen? It's not, it's not like an easy thing, right?
No, the thing is that when you work as a director and as a writer with an actor who wants to do his best and get out of himself and get into another world, then you become close in a way of mentally, you know, and you rely upon each other. I think the actor always wants to feel that that the director is going to watch his back, really, you know, and the director wants to feel the same way about an actor, that he's going to watch my back. Like if I say something to him which is not making sense, or if I'm making a scene which is not making that much sense, he will either make sense of it or tell me that this is not making sense. You become, if you start working that way, it becomes very exciting. I mean, there's hardly anything more exciting than working. And sometimes you're doing rehearsals in a room, and in all these movies, some of us, especially like Shah Rukh would, or Ranbir and Deepika, would love to sit in a huddle and discuss the scene. You know, we are groupies that way. We don't even do it for the scenes to be better. We just do it because we like it.
For the fun of it.
And that's what kind of connects us, and that's what makes us want to hang with each other even when we are not working. And what do? We just discuss this. Like beyond the third line with Ranbir, it's always going to be about some story or something which is to do with cinema. Same with Deepika or Shah Rukh.
You know, among many things, you must have been told this a lot of times, that your, you know, the heroines who work in your movie, especially, I read somewhere that Ranbir was very jealous for a while that Deepika was, you know, gave you so much attention on the sets. True?
Deepika,
how did you manage that?
No, that was when I hadn't worked with Ranbir, but I had was working with Deepika in Love Aajkal.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on. They were dating at that time, and she used to tell him about me. And like when I made friends with Ranbir, I think the second time when I met him, he was saying that I used to think, who the hell is this Imtiaz Ali? And then we met later. Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing about working with stars? Because it's always such an exciting opportunity, and how do you keep that balance of knowing that I shouldn't, you know, not compromising your material?
See, the thing about, it's not about stars actually, because by the time you start working with anybody, he's not a star, he's a person then.
Right.
And that person might be a star, but then I mean, how does it operate? If he is, like Shah Rukh is the biggest star I've worked with, but then when I was working with him, he was Shah Rukh Khan, who's a big star. Now, if it is a problem, if it is kind of obstructing him from being a good actor, then I'd have to address it.
Right.
But it's always an individual you're dealing with, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And you don't have to be. So it was thrilling to work with him, not because he's a star. I mean, beyond the second day, there's a box office collection scenario which is not operational right now during shooting, let's say.
Right.
It is only the happiness of working with a certain individual that excites me.
Yes.
And apart from that, Yeah, okay. The one small problem of working with a star is the fact that you've got to be careful where you're shooting. And I shoot so much real location.
Yes.
That now if I would think, oh, this gully is very nice in Noor Mahal in Punjab, this is where we should be shooting and this is how Harry should be walking in, and then the thought strikes me that Harry is Shah Rukh Khan. So if he's going to be walking here, right, what's going to be happening to the rest? They are already waving at me.
Right.
What will they do if Shah Rukh comes here? So you got to have that extra thing.
Right.
But there are ways and means of ensuring that you can do that too.
So tell me one association with some of these places that you're familiar with. Patna.
I've not shot in Patna.
Me, no, but it could be like you've lived
I've lived for 8 years in Patna.
Okay.
And I like in Patna how they fight but not fight.
What is that?
Like two people are like looking at each other angrily. Nobody is hitting the other.
Right.
But they're just saying like nasty words to each other. I used to see that scenario in school and in a lower class, in the gully, in like everywhere. Like people like to male hens,
right,
therefore cocks, standing like that, but nobody is really making the first blow. Patna is also very intellectual, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so intense, I feel.
Okay.
Because, am I saying too many things about
okay.
one place?
It's fine.
I feel Patna is, I mean, the worst criminals.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the greatest intellectuals, the greatest prophetic thinkers. I mean, I'm extending it to Bihar. So from a Gautam Buddha to a very notorious criminal to the most corrupt politician, it's so diverse in terms of the character of people that it spawns.
Right.
But you can't easily fool a Bihari, is what I feel.
Okay. Ratlam.
Oh my God. Ratlam is where my effigies were burnt for Jab we met. Because they thought that this place that's known for chivda and gatia has now been termed as a place for prostitution or something, which was definitely not the intention. Anyway, there was a FIR against me, and then at some point of time, I had to go there and like, appear on court and everything. And so, yeah, but Ratlam, I still remember Ratlam as the place that I used to see from the moving train, from the Rajdhani Express, and wonder what's going on in those houses that I'll never go to.
Okay. Prague?
Prague is the happy life.
Okay.
Prague is the beautiful, high-quality, visual life. That kind of stunning architecture or city I've never seen in my life, and there is no other actually.
The sense of aesthetics and everything. The
sense of aesthetics, the sense of, yeah, everywhere, all around. It's just the highest aesthetic sense that you get in any place. It's very small.
Right.
It's not as big as Paris, but it's very small. But within that, it's the highest aesthetic.
Czech Republic.
I've got so many friends there,
yeah?
And those people are, I think, apart from aside of Indians, work friends that I came to know through working in Rockstar and Jab Harry met Sejal. But now I feel it's the place outside India where I feel that I belong. Like I have been in situations where people are fighting with me and I'm fighting with them, and the question of me being from another country has not arisen really.
Okay. You're a person who travels light. I mean, I know you still like to hop into auto rickshaws. You don't have. What is the one indulgence that you know that you had once you felt that you've reached that level of success?
Tea.
Tea. How is that an indulgence?
It's an indulgence because it's not level of success or anything, but what I have become is very refined about my taste in tea.
Okay.
And I get it from Darjeeling, from certain estates, and I've made friends with those guys to make sure that the best quality tea comes to me. And I know about gardens in Darjeeling and their quality, as well as somebody like knows about French wines and the grapes and the gardens there. And it's sometimes expensive as well. Right. It's not that expensive, like how expensive can tea be, but it can be. Like
right.
So, but I do carry the tea that I drink everywhere in the world, and all of that. So that's my only indulgence. Sometimes I feel frustrated by it, but then I remember some words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I'll tell you later.
Okay.
And then I feel that, theek hai yaar, isko
So you
rakhte hain.
carry your own tea with you?
Yeah, I carry my own tea, make my own tea, piss off everybody at the restaurant, whichever hotel I stay in. When I have my breakfast to, you know, prepare, like get me hot water in a da-da-da. It's a whole procedure
Okay.
that I do.
So that's an indulgence.
That's an indulgence, yep.